room, but now I have. Okay, hey, everybody! Look at that. I am somehow taller than everybody, even though I am only 5'3". Hey, Rory, sit up. No, okay, Rory, you're fine. You're fine. All right, there you go. You're probably the tallest of us because you're probably sitting on the floor or something.
No. Tellman is a giant, dude. Are you kidding me?
I think we both have the same. This isn't my normal one, but I think I have a Secret Lab gaming chair. Hey, everybody! My name's Harris Fellman, and over there
it's Tellman,
and in between us, high five! It's Rory Stern. It's Dr. Rory Stern. Wow, I am beginning this call on way different energy than yesterday.
Oh yeah. Totally different day.
Maybe I'll cry anyway. Anyway, hey everybody, this is.
Why don't you tell Rory why you were crying? He might be able to relate.
No, because then I'll fucking cry again. What are you, Oprah Winfrey? Jesus Christ!
Just look at me. Of course I'm Oprah Winfrey. Come on, like, like, is there ever been a doubt? When I walk down the street, everybody's like, Oprah. Oh, sorry, it's just
it's the white male Oprah.
Yeah, that's right. The white male Oprah.
Okay,
yeah,
so we have 3 people watching. It might be us, for all I know. On my channel, I'm one of the 3 people watching on my channel. It doesn't get too many more than that right now, Rory. So you don't have too much. Can I call you Rory, or does it need to be Dr. Stern?
You absolutely can call me Rory, 100%.
So tell me, before we go into yesterday and my personal, why don't we at least tell people that might tune in what they might see today? Why don't we do that really quick?
So
let's pretend like we're doing a talk show.
We are doing a talk show. We don't even need to pretend. So we're here with Dr. Rory Stern. Known Rory for a long time, about the same amount of time as I've known Harris. Yeah, apparently they've somehow never met before until just a few short moments ago before we went live. And Rory is very interesting. He has a specialty in helping people drive traffic. I think that's still what your focus of your agency is, but we haven't really talked about it in some time. Yeah. And back in the day, Rory was a student of mine. He actually did a virtual summit. I believe the topic, you did 2 of them. What were they both ADD ones, or were they? Okay, so
both ADD, yeah.
I think I was working on growing my ADD business when we bumped into each other, but maybe not yet. I don't know. I mean, no, I didn't bond it over the attention deficit.
Yeah, I mean, like that's one of the things that drew me in for sure. I mean, you were full in list building mode when you popped up on my radar. I can't remember how, but I got connected to Kyle Battis pretty quickly. And he and I became pretty good friends, partners, all sorts of things over the years. But if we back up, Kyle was great in sort of mentoring me along a little bit, introduced me to you. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what is it? It's 2024, right? So 18 years.
Yeah,
I've been marketing
a long time ago. So, dude, well, let's start with like a blurb about what you're doing now, and then we'll go back in time. So can these days, I know you've gone through some transformations and some ups and downs, but like, what are you doing right now? Like, what's your deal?
Right now, the primary thing is still traffic related. Most of what I do is kind of high level consulting with bigger companies, bigger budgets. How do we bring the CPAs down? Things like that. I have a bit of an edge. I mean, Tellman, that's putting it lightly, right? But I'm going to share.
I mean, you get yourself into trouble by saying things that maybe you should keep to yourself sometimes.
Yeah, like I'm about to do right now here live on Facebook with you guys. So once upon a time, I did drive a lot of traffic. I did have an agency. I think 23 people, some really big name clients, as well as people you don't know of who spend a lot of money on traffic. But these days, with the state of the industry and like everybody and their brother thinking they're a Facebook ad expert, most of what I do is consult with companies and tear apart their horrible ad strategy based on media buyers who can't buy their way out of a paper bag because they've learned 5th generation marketing tactics. And I think you guys will appreciate this. Tellman, I know you've been online since what, 2022 or something, or 2020? No, I'm sorry. 2000.
Yeah, I've been online for a year and a half now.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? No, what I meant was you've been online since like 2002, and I learned yesterday, Fellman, you've got what, 2 years on Tellman?
Well, sort of. I did probably 99.
Okay.
I was doing some stuff, but more of like the internet marketing stuff that we are more familiar with. I would say I call that direct response internet marketing, right?
Yep.
I'd say 2006, end of
All
five.
right, so fair enough. My point is, other than the pre-coffee jitters of saying 1.5 years, the point I'm trying to make with all these people who really don't know what they're doing is with you guys, and I'd like to throw myself in the category, having been around for 18 years. People today don't understand the basic fundamentals of direct response marketing. We are now, in my humble opinion, we are generations removed from people learning directly from Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy, and some of the others predating me. They're still out there doing great things, but it's a copy of a copy of a copy, and I think some of the fundamentals and basics are lost. So yeah, I spent a lot of time making fun of other people who can't do shit and fixing problems that shouldn't be in existence right now.
Cool. And so, like, as a consultant who helps people in this traffic realm, like, do you have a specialty? Is there a particular type of problem that you're good at solving, or a way of looking at things that gives you like a particular advantage? Like, what are you really good at in that space? Like, what aspect of that have you found, your space in?
Yeah, so there's two verticals there. Thank you, Tellman. One of them has always been policy and compliance with what the networks want. When I got trained on Facebook, there were 5 people who figured it out. I was learning about Facebook advertising back in the day when Dan Kennedy proclaimed you're never going to make money from social media, and most people were not. And I was fortunate enough to be trained by 2 greats on how to make paid ads work. One of them specifically on Facebook. And back then, Facebook, I mean, like, you remember back when I worked with you, like worked for you, we couldn't even talk about money in Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Right. So we had to figure out how do you talk about money? How do you talk about wealth? Not even biz op. But how do you talk about wealth on a platform that doesn't want you talking about it?
Right.
So I spent a lot of time, looking at basically how do you run an offer that most people can't? How do you say what you need to say without saying it in a way Facebook doesn't want? So that's vertical 1. Where's my finger? The second area
that is the question.
There we go. There's my finger. I just got that one. Wow, I need more coffee. The second area is really just what I call traffic turnaround.
Harris, you've got to stop drinking those monsters, dude. That's not good for you.
What is that?
Monster energy drinks.
All right, I'm gonna hypnotize that right out of you.
There you go.
I don't want you to. You can't. If I don't want you to hypnotize me out, you can't, because
you're a magician. I'm a hypnotist.
I
know.
Listen. He can hypnotize anybody to do anything. I'm living proof.
That's right. Well, anybody, anything, anytime, anywhere.
You want it to be changed, though. I've done the research on energy drinks. In fact, for the 2 viewers right now, we are looking for sponsors, energy drink sponsor. And Tellman will do a bulletproof coffee ad, and I'll do energy drink, because I'm sure putting a bunch of fat in your coffee is super healthy. I'm sure.
Dude, I've been drinking bulletproof coffee for like every day for 4 or 5 years. Like,
wow, I've been really drinking energy drinks for
but look, So let's move on. Let's move on. This is clearly beating the dead horse.
So it's really, again, the second thing is that the traffic turnaround. And I just go into businesses that are overspending, not hitting their marks. And I go under the hood and look at where are you spending that you shouldn't be? What are you leaving out that really needs to be there? We we're out of the golden stage, if you will, especially with Facebook advertising, where you can put up an ad, spend $1 and get $10 back immediately, like day zero.
Right.
That lasted for maybe about a week, and people still seem to ride it out. I mean, I went into a company. What did we end up doing last year? They were $75 million last year in top line revenue, and they had one funnel, like marketing. It was ad to webinar to $2,000 product. They were getting thousands upon thousands of leads. Tellman, this is going to make you cringe. Harris, I imagine, will make you cringe too. I just know Tellman more, intimately, if you will.
Well, we're not that intimate.
Yeah,
He knows where your fingers. He knows where your fingers have been.
There you go. I mean, so, God, the tangents I could do right now, but I'm gonna hold it professional.
We're already on a tangent, Rory. Stick to the tangent we're on, so we can get back to the thing we want to get to.
Understand. So, so thousands of leads a day, hundreds of customers. They were converting cold traffic at, I mean, financially a great rate, but at a conversion rate, horrible. And their answer was, oh, we just need more and better ads. And I'm like, no, you don't need more and better ads. You need follow-up systems to connect with your audience who is starving for what you have. And people like that, no disrespect, because they built a great business. I certainly have never put together an $80 million a year company.
Right.
But, they were focused, laser focused on, we need more and better ads. And I'm like, if you do a challenge, if you do a Facebook group, if you have a follow-up funnel, like all these different ways to market, I think it was Dan Kennedy that said, build an audience, put a fence around them, and you'll be rich for the rest of your life. And they didn't want to hear it. And that is a prevailing thing that I see. In fact, I walked away from applying for a gig because the CEO was like, the number one complaint, I don't have enough time in my schedule to shoot more ads. And I was like, done. We don't need more ads. I can promise you,
right.
You don't have a traffic problem. You have a conversion problem. That's always the issue. Now, if we look at what you guys teach and what I learned from you, Tellman, once upon a time ago, I did have a traffic problem because I wasn't bringing in people.
You don't have any traffic. Right. If you don't have that audience yet, you need to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. So it's all the basics, but everybody's looking for that hot moment.
This is a great segue. So you,
I teed that up, Fellman.
I know. I watched it happen. You did 2 virtual summits, and built. So tell us about the first one. Tell us about the second one. Like, what was the process like doing it in the first place? I know it was a long time ago. What did doing those summits do for you, both in the moment and how did that set your foundation for the future?
Yeah. So, I mean, so many lessons learned, right? Like up until then, I was probably getting 1 or 2 leads a day max. I was spending my time blogging and reaching maybe 5 readers. I was posting on Yahoo Answers. I think that was probably my most consistent traffic source once upon a time. Ezine articles. This is how far back we're going.
Which is the equivalent of social media posting, except it was before social media started.
Yep.
Right.
So,
it's creating organic content to get free traffic.
Yeah.
Right. So, and as a one-person show.
Yeah. As a one-person show. Thank you. Yeah. So when I did my my first interview series, I mean, I think I got one affiliate partner. We did 12 or 14 speakers, all of whom were professionals in the ADHD space, because I was looking more for credibility than building a list.
You are a doctor,
yeah,
with a specialty in ADHD. I mean, maybe talk about that for a minute, just so people understand why you were going into the ADHD space.
Yeah, so I got my start in marketing completely against any wishes or desires. 2006, I graduated with a doctorate in clinical psychology. My dream at the time was to become an FBI profiler, behavior specialist. And I walked across the stage accepting my diploma with a 6-month-old child in my hands. And to spare a long story, I became a stay-at-home dad. I made it a few months, got really, really anxious and was like, I have a calling I need to fulfill. Learned all about internet marketing, struggled. One man show, trying to figure out everything on my own, didn't have any money, just bootstrapped the shit out of everything.
I remember you were flopping around like a fish out of water for a long time, like trying to figure it out, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of it was because I was focusing on a market that wasn't feeding me. And I was really, really stubborn and didn't want to use other skills that I had acquired. That's another story for another day. So that eventually led me to you, where I said, hey, I'm going to try this traffic summit. At the time, what was it? Perpetual Marketing Machine.
Yep. That's what it was called. Mm-hmm.
So I got a bunch of experts together because, again, being a doctor, I was able to put my foot in the door and say to people, hey, I'd like to do an interview with you. You were one of those people. So you sent some traffic my way. Found another guy that one thing about me, regardless of some of my stubborn persistence of working in a market that doesn't want to pay me, is that also allows me to get to know people in a way that most don't. So I found a guy who was advertising on Google search. That was the 80-pound, or what is it, 8,000-pound or whatever pound, 800-pound gorilla at the time. It was clear he was doing big volume for his ADHD business. Got him on board to promote. He sent me 1,000 leads in one day.
Boom.
I was drooling. So that summit led me to make my first dollars online ever. That really planted firmly in the ground that I could do this, that it was real. It wasn't a scam. It wasn't bullshit. It really can be done. And if a guy like me, who has no marketing knowledge, no marketing ambition, totally academic, right? Like, because again, at the time I was just out of grad school. If I can do it this way, then there's a lot more than I can do. So I don't remember when I did the second summit. It was either a year or two later. I went after some bigger fish. Side note, be very clear with the instructions you give your partners. Because
this is a critical element. This is a critical element. Yeah.
I got on board a company, a direct response marketing company that was primarily in the infomercial space. I forget the guy's name, but he was a behavior specialist. He had a program. They had big things going on, and I was like, I'd like to have one of your experts featured. I'd like you to promote me to your email list. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, whoa, I hit the jackpot. Come to find out, they didn't know what promote me to their email list meant. I didn't get a solo email. I got this little blurb in a daily newsletter, and it didn't amount to much. But thank God, somewhere along the way, I had this great idea to have my summit sponsored. So not only the second time, not only was I building a list and monetizing on the back end, not as much as I would have liked, I secured a $10,000 sponsor.
Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't doing sponsorships at the time. Nope. Like I hadn't even considered that as an option. So that, like, you innovated that. That was cool.
Yeah, you had not, and I was very, very proud of myself at the time.
Rightly so. I mean, that's great. I mean, so what is do you remember what the sponsorship looked like? Like, what the deal was?
Yeah, I mean, so they were, I mean, like you'd imagine, like any, think, traffic and conversion summit, like you get your badge and logo on the landing page. Every email, I think, had the company name at the top. Every summit was like, hey, this is Dr. Stern. Thank you for attending such and such. Very excited about today's call. Don't forget, today's call and our entire summit is sponsored by XYZ company. Go visit them at, mywebsite.com/special offer. And they got more traffic from my summit, from my little summit, than they had ever seen in their entire lives. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was spectacular.
So cool.
I have a couple. I have a couple of questions. You
yeah,
mind?
please, Harris, jump in.
And also I want to mention one thing. So I noticed you kind of code switched, Rory, from saying interview series to summit. Did you call it a summit back then, or you're calling it that?
No, I don't think anybody called it a summit back then.
Okay, so
that term wasn't even getting thrown around at that point.
No,
well, no, if you're sponsoring it, if you're doing sponsorships, it sounds like you might have.
The first one was called the ADHD Strategy Series, and then the second one, because I had quote unquote rebranded, it was so horrible, but my website at the time, which is no longer there, so don't go looking for it, was ADHD Family Online. So I'm fairly certain it was the ADHD Family Online Summit.
That sounds right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. And then, so with the first series, you interviewed mostly people, and you didn't have too many interviews that were affiliates. Is that right?
Correct.
But you built a pretty big list, and you were able to promote your own things to them.
Yep.
And you probably did. Do you remember if you had something like when people signed up? Did you have something to monetize on the thank you page?
Oh my God, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you asked that, Harris, because I feel very, very blessed to have met Tellman when I did, and to learn that, free opt-in, hit them with the audio recordings in PDF immediately on the thank you page. And I say that I feel blessed because if we circle back to what I said at the beginning of this call, where people forget the basics, I sign up for summits all the time just to check out what's going on. And there's so many people that don't monetize on the thank you page.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Big people that are doing summits that are friends in the space that are just dropping the ball.
Yeah, and
I didn't for the first 4,000 or something opt-ins until I met him midway through. It was already people were maybe it was 2,000 out of 8 or whatever, but literally I noticed a difference the second I added something.
Yeah, but Harris, there's a difference between you doing this in 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about this the other day. Somebody brought up the 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary of John Reese and the $1 Million Day.
Yeah, that just happened last week, I think. Yep.
That was unheard of when we were marketing.
Yeah.
And I think 2 years ago, running traffic, I helped a company close out a launch. And in that closeout, we did $6 million.
Right.
And Tellman, when you had listbuilding.com, your company, the millions that you did in your best year was monumental.
Right.
And last year I worked for a company that did $75 million. It's just,
right.
So my point is, Harris, is back then we really didn't know. Today, if you are not monetizing your thank you page, you are being taught by a complete fraud and moron. Right?
Right.
I'm sorry, you're giving, what was it? I mean, it's your most valuable real estate.
Right.
Yeah. No, it is. It's the only, what I always say is it's the only time that you have 100% of the people that opted in, and it's actually probably closer to 99 because something might have happened on the internet. Yep. But basically, the only time that you get 100% attention from the people that opted in is on that thank you page. Yep. I say that, I'm guessing Tellman probably taught me that. But
it's true, I did teach you that.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to highlight, so then the second summit that you did, were most of the speakers, did they have something to sell it on the call? Were they, or half, or?
Oh no, it was all me, baby.
Okay. So you basically put together your own packages that you'd pull them on interviews. So that's a different model than what I did, because I'm mostly in internet marketing, so everybody has something to sell.
Yeah, the thing is, because there are a lot of, now it's different. So one of the interesting things about all of this is that back in the day, most of the niches, I'm not talking about weird little micro niches, just the larger category markets and niches, that's the topic, the ADHD. There were very few people that had a $1,000 to $2,000 back-end offer and the ability to sell it in a presentation, in that case usually in a teleseminar, because this predates streaming video on the internet.
Yep.
And so good move on the sponsorship, because it can
Right.
I tried going into a few different markets where people where the entrepreneurs in the marketplace weren't sophisticated enough in their own marketing in order to keep up with the model that we were running. But now it's way more competitive. And so, because there's people in every market and every niche, and now it's the exception for people not to have an email list and a newsletter. Like most people realize that building their list, who are making money online in any market range, know that building a list is critical. And in order to be successful, you have to learn these extra marketing skills. And so I really like the idea of, if you are going into a market that has non-sophisticated entrepreneurs or marketers who don't have something expensive they can sell at the end of their interview or their webinar, then the sponsorship opportunity is really cool. And then the other thing is that even if you do have a sophisticated enough marketplace, you might not have the network. You might not be able to get through easily in the time period allotted to get like all the A players if you haven't met them yet. So I like that sponsorship idea.
I want to speak to that for just 1 second about, promoting my own stuff and having the sponsor and not finding people with their own programs and packages, because today I think if you do that, you're stupid. You're missing out. And I say that because I look back at what I did and I feel stupid for not doing it. Because I was so focused on building my own brand and my own reputation, which was and is important to me today. But I sacrificed making relationships with people that probably could have further propelled me monetarily. I sacrificed making money, which was stupid because, Tellman, how much I struggled for so long. And a lot of it was at my own doing, my own hand. So I think, today it's important to find people that can promote, that do have their own offers. Passive income. Oh my God. But still, I'll go back. Like, one thing I do want to spit out is that, like, I went from literal unknown to top 1% in my industry. I eventually ended up on the board of directors of the second largest ADHD advocacy group in the world. It opened doors for me that were important at the time. So
the other thing that brings me back to one note that I had. You had mentioned that you started out as a one-man show. That's something that Tellman and I, really focus on, being a difference here for what for this business model, which is like, we're all used to, like, I got to figure this out, and sure, there's a whole bunch of other people around in the world that are doing it, but ultimately it's you and your computer, and we're all just trying to figure it out alone. And then what this model does is it allows you to create a project that you're able to collaborate with other people. And 1 + 1 + 1 = more than 3 when you do that.
Yeah, I'll say this: like, doing things on my own for as long as I did, it made me the marketer that I am today, and I think it helps set me apart from a lot of people because I have a very unique skill set. And in fact, that's what got me hired by Tellman for one of his companies. It's what allowed me to eventually partner with Tellman on a project. That being said, they say it's the dumbest thing you can do is doing it alone. I went from doing things, learning the skill set or skill sets over years. You do it with other people, you can compress it and catapult so fast. So it's a bit of a catch-22. And I, looking back, I have no regrets, but I sure as shit would have done it a lot faster with other people.
That's right. That's
right. It's brutal out there doing it alone, especially today. Oh my God.
And there are so many people who have both skills and the business assets that you want that are missing other pieces. Like, there are a lot. There are a lot of lonely solopreneurs out there who are just in the grind, in the bubble, struggling, trying to make it work. And there are some things that you can do to really move things forward fast. And building a large responsive audience in your market and niche while networking with, connecting with, and collaborating with the top industry experts in that market is just why why wouldn't you do that if you have
Yeah,
the
and
option, right?
you know, it's interesting if I can go on this for a second, guys. One of my other businesses unrelated to just traffic consulting, I am starting a publishing company with 2 other partners, and we are working with experts who are established but not making progress.
Yeah.
And we're also looking to land some big fish who are doing big money but are not, you know, they don't have a back end, whatever. And it's so funny. Like my team and we put together this hour-long presentation for this expert about all the things that we were going to do. And when we gave the pitch at the end, there was 0 objection. It was, yes, sign me up. And I swear to God, like looking back at it, and this is the point I'm trying to make, we probably just could have pitched her right at the beginning. And instead of an hour-long call, it could have been 5 minutes.
Right.
Because she's a psychiatrist. She has a great program, but she doesn't know anything about marketing. She's not tracking her emails. She's not using UTM parameters. She's not doing organic. She doesn't know how to scale. She doesn't know how to reinvest.
Right.
And it's just like, so part of it, you know, again, I'm making the case for don't go it alone.
Right.
I'm making the case for it that you can only do so much on your own. I mean, there's so much out there.
Let me ask you this, since we're, you know, let's see if this can add a little bit of value. So how important are all of those things?
Everything I just mentioned that she wasn't doing,
yeah,
makes the difference between an offer and a real business.
Really?
So
like even something is like detailed down as like the UTM parameters.
I mean, I don't necessarily know that a beginner needs to be doing that, but when you want to grow and scale and know where your traffic is coming from and where to double down, hell yes.
You have to have your stuff tracked. I mean, it's pretty important.
I mean, shit, I'll share a lesson with you that Tellman may remember or not, but he was part of this phone call. I forget who it was. It was with, I think the guy's name was Rick. Rick and Liz, I feel like their name.
Oh, Rick Thompson. Yeah, Rick and Liz Thompson, Healthy Healthy Wise. Yeah, they were, I mean,
how were they?
Good friends. I haven't talked to them in a long time. Yeah.
So we were on a call, and at the time in my ADHD business, I had just started getting into an essential oil company.
Oh yeah,
right. And at some point, you know, Rick was like, "So Rory, what are you doing? Or give me a win." And I was like, "Well, back in July, so a couple months ago, I think I spent like $100 on ads, and ended up bringing home $600 from product sales from my MLM." And Rick's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. How many more times have you done it?" And I'm like, "I haven't." And he's like, "Are you stupid?" I mean, he didn't say, "Are you stupid?" Because Rick's not that kind of guy.
He's nice guy,
very polite.
Rick was very polished. I mean, very put together and professional. But I mean, the message literally was, "Hey, dummy, keep doing it." And I didn't know, right? Because here I am, solopreneur. It was one thing. I wasn't paying attention to my metrics. I wasn't looking at where the money was coming from. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And sure enough, I had an offer, but no business at the time.
That's right. So
I do have one comment. This was from minutes ago, probably 20 minutes ago. Tom Beal wanted to say that Rory loves Uranus. So
Tom, I do love Uranus. I do love Uranus.
Yes. He's big on the planet Uranus, so I thought that was important. It was a good time to interject. Since you guys have ADD, figure I might as well feed to it. I was wondering if your sponsor was Adderall. Like that was what I was going to ask you earlier.
No big pharma. Get the hell out of here. Oh wait, can we curse?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what. Well, no.
I mean, we've been cursing a bit. It hasn't been the most cursy show, but
it was sarcasm and rhetorical because I had just sworn. Just so we're clear.
That's good. That's good justification.
Oh no, there's better notes. Hold on a second. Tom. Rory shaking his head, reading my comment. Okay. And then 2 brilliant takeaways prior to having to bounce out. 1, sponsorship of a summit, and monetizing on the thank you page. Yeah, I mean, monetizing on the thank you page is, I mean, that's like 101 now. You right? You like we both didn't do it. You know.
But Harris, it's 101 to you, Tellman, and myself. But I'm telling you, as much as like as recent as 2 years ago, I saw a guy who proclaimed to invent the summit model, not monetizing the thank you page. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Like,
well, the thing is that there's so many more. There's so many more. I mean, like, I'm going to sound like it's an infomercial now, which it is always. It's always be infomercialing. But there's so many other benefits as well as even just making money and even if you didn't monetize the thank you page, you can still, there's other ways. And you came up with the doing, sponsorships, which is brilliant. And then, obviously on each call we talk about, and there's just, so if you do screw it up, worst case scenario is you build a list and you might be able to be on the board of the second biggest whatever in your industry. You know what I mean? Like even if you didn't make a ton of money on that, you got yourself in the middle.
Right.
You were the Oprah Winfrey of your market.
And I want to point out, it's because you're putting the time, the effort, and the energy into creating an event that will genuinely serve and be helpful to the top people in your industry and their audiences and following. Like, that's the whole move here.
Yeah, it's funny as I started watching you again recently, when we're talking about right now and throughout the years, like there's not a month or quarter that goes by where I don't look at it and go, why am I not doing a summit? Why am I not doing interviews every week? Like, it's just so stupid not to be doing it.
Well,
and now you can take your interview and really redistribute it out to so many other channels everywhere if you want, or pieces of it or whatever. It's a great starting point.
In fact, I kind of want to riff on this for a second. I won't name any names, but there is an OG that I'm confident both of you guys know who went and did like 40 of these in a row. He bought individual domains and did like Digital Marketer Summit and Online Advertising Summit and Email Marketing Summit. Like, it was just one after another, after another, after another. And I was like, damn. And he actually didn't do any of the interviews. He hired a host, and that host now has her own company because of it.
I wish I was around to be hired right then. Damn. That's the ideal job for me, baby.
You were too busy stealing sites. Quiet.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, on that note, guys, we are doing a boot camp. We have an upcoming virtual summit list building boot camp. It's going to be 12 weeks, and we're going to walk you guys through the exact process of launching your own virtual summit in 90 days or less. If you want to get involved at the boot camp, you want to find out more, type boot camp into the comments below. And I say this because we're currently streaming to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different destinations between the three of us. And we're not able to monitor all the comments. So comment boot camp and then shoot a direct message to me or Harris. I'm going to say, or Rory, and he'll pass your information on. He'll connect us up. Thanks for doing that, Rory. If you want to get involved with the boot camp or you want to find out more, we'll send you a link to a video. You can schedule a call with us and chat about it. If what you're hearing seems like it would be helpful for your business.
Yeah. I'm going to give one plug for anyone who is like, for some reason, not considering this. So again, when I got my start, Tellman didn't know who I was. He was generous with his time at some points. Hold on. I will tell you, as an OG being around for almost 20 years, it is hilarious and pathetic for today's marketers not to know who Tellman is to the degree that they should. And I'll say some of that gets passed on to Harris, who I've just met and don't know. But the reason why, Tellman does not give his time to people who are not legit. And I will also say, I've said this for years, you could ask my wife, Tellman, she hears this all the time. Every time Tellman and I have a phone call, it is the most brilliant conversation ever. And not because I'm there, it's because this man, that man, I don't know, that man right there is a freaking marketing genius, like one of the most brilliant marketing minds in the world. No, I'm not paid to say this. I'm not endorsed to say this. This man helped me make a fuck ton of money. That's the only way to qualify it or quantify it. So learn from him. And Harris, again, like I've known Harris online forever. So yeah, these are two guys you should learn from.
Thanks, Rory.
Thanks, Rory. That was really sweet. Like, that was really awesome. Appreciate it.
But dude, I tell as many people as I fucking can. If you don't know who Tellman is, you're out of your freaking mind.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, really, like even if somebody joined the boot camp and it wasn't because, oh my God, I've got to do this interview series, I've got to do this summit, they'd benefit a ton from what they're going to get from Tellman and I, and especially from Tellman.
Yeah, and I'll share something with you guys in closing that I think I've told Tellman once or twice. I went on and took a project management job with one of his companies. It paid okay. I didn't really make ends meet, and it kind of sucked monetarily, but I was able to easily justify it by saying, listen, I'm getting paid $20 an hour, which was not chump change at the time. But in addition, like I literally had this man's personal phone number. We talked almost every single day, and it paid off in spades.
Yeah.
Like that was easily a 6-figure job that I didn't realize I didn't realize monetarily
what it was going to do later.
Yeah. I mean, learn from.
Well, I'm glad that worked out. That's really awesome. It's really good to hear,
By the way, we do have somebody that commented boot camp, Simon Leung. You know Simon Tellman?
Oh, I haven't heard Simon's name for a long time, but I would. Cool. Let's talk to Simon. Nice.
Yeah. Cool. He's.
Nice.
I actually he interviewed me or let me speak on a thing a few weeks ago that he was doing with Groove Asia or something like that. So, or Groove, I guess, the Grooves page. So, but yeah, we'll be sure to get you the info, Simon. Thanks for boot camping it up. You'd be a great addition. And then, like Tellman, on the boot camp, I was thinking like somebody like Rory. I know that we're gonna try to have him show up for the community when we build a community, but is there going to be a place for him to show up like him or people like him, people that have done the course, will they be around for like, whatever questions or, I mean, the idea, like really, like this is the first time that we've talked about doing sponsorships during the whole course of our thing. Not that we wouldn't have, that we're not going to teach it, but you and I, we don't do it that way because
I've never done a sponsorship for one of my summits before.
Right.
I haven't, but like there are many people that have,
yeah.
So it's a totally valid model. Especially, I want to point out, I don't endorse this, but like, I'm a big fan of pitch fests. And a lot of entrepreneurs and marketers are all like, "Ew, pitch fest," and if you're not into it, if you're not into the art of the infomercial, if you're not into like the whole process of pitching and like seeing if something flies or seeing if it bombs and like the ups and the downs of all that, if you're not into it, then it can be very off-putting because like they can be very emotional. If you do a few webinars and they bomb and that's the feedback you get, like it hurts, right? Because you put all this work in and it didn't make any money, but then like you do one that's a home run and then it makes up for it all. But in that way, it's like when you do a summit, you do a bunch of presentations, do a bunch of webinars, inevitably there are 1 or 2 home runs, there are a couple strikeouts, and there are several like middle of the roads, right? In terms of revenue and how well everything goes. And if you your speakers all show up and they're all like on point, like there are a lot of things, it's a live series. So there are a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. Right. And if you are genuinely like scared shitless of selling and afraid of it, then you have 2 options, right? And option number 1 is embrace it and get over yourself, get good at it because you have a long way to go. Like you're naturally weak. It's time to do some push-ups, dude. Yep. And so that is what I would encourage you to do. But not everybody has the self-confidence, the gumption, to be like, oh, I suck at something, but that means I can get better. Yeah. A lot of people are like, I suck at something, that means I suck, and I'm going to avoid it. And so the good news is the sponsorship opportunity is one way that you can create either a hybrid summit where you're not only doing pitches, or you could even do a summit with no speaker pitches at all, and you could have several.
It's a different. It's still a different sales pitch. I have a friend that is more in the me. I don't want to sound that category, but he did like some sort of like a while back. He did like some sort of family summit. He did one where he got people together, and he got one, but which are always sponsored. Like the when you do that, so it must. It never sat well with me, but that's what television is. I mean, television is watch my show. We're going to get sponsors to pay for it,
Right.
So obviously it's a business model that works. And I think there's also a hybrid. I will say too, like, I'm not as hardcore, like, gotta sell. Like, I've said it before. Like, I don't love platform speaking. I'm a little like, I want to perform, make people laugh, give them good info. And then I don't want to be like, emotionally attached to my payday at the back of the room.
Right.
Webinars are a little different. You're a little bit, first of all, there's a lot more people. You don't have to see the people. It's a little bit easier, and you've got you create, especially if you get into our boot camp, you're going to get slides and templates. But anyway, you create a flow of going from beginning, middle to end. And yes, the end is exactly what we're doing right now, which is talking about the fact that if you want to get on our boot camp, comment boot camp. This is we just do it naturally. We're not really doing an interview and selling right now, or are we? No, but that's ultimately what it all circles back to, and it really should be natural because we're talking about something that we think is beneficial to you, and if you kind of are catching fire and saying, oh yeah, this would be beneficial to me, then we're doing a boot camp and we're starting a boot camp in a couple of weeks, and we want some people in it, and especially people that are going to do stuff. Like, we don't want you just to learn it. We need you to. This is what the boot camp is. Boot camp does not mean we're going to tell you that you should do push-ups. We're going to make sure you do some marketing push-ups.
That's right. Yeah. So again, guys, if you're just tuning in, if you want to get involved in our virtual summit bootcamp, build a giant audience, build a giant email list that's responsive, that's profitable, and fully bonded to you, and you want to do it in the next 90 days, type bootcamp in the comments below, and send me, Harris, or Rory a direct message, and we'll send you a link and have a chat about it and see if it makes sense to get you involved. There are two. Harris, didn't you say you had a hard cutoff?
I've got to go 3 minutes ago, so I got to get going.
Okay, let's wrap it up with this one question, Rory.
Yes, sir.
I know that you help a lot of people with traffic these days, and the email marketing world has changed dramatically, even in the last year. Huge changes, and
6 months.
In a certain way, there are two ways to do summits. You can do a free opt-in summit, or you could do a paid summit. And in your opinion, Rory, as someone who helps companies generate leads, if you were to do a summit right now and you had the choice, would you do free opt-ins, or would you do a lower cost ticket price and charge for it? Like, what would be more, what? Yeah, I mean, obviously a customer list.
Pros and cons. Why don't we do this? What would you do and pros and cons of both? What's going through your head?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, there's the intellectual answer, and then there's the what have I done answer. So I tested I tested a new summit offer last year, and I immediately went free. I built a list. I had PDF transcripts on the thank you page, rolled it out to cold traffic, no warm nothing. So
what topic?
Entrepreneurs with ADHD.
And when you say cold traffic, is it cold paid traffic?
Yeah, sorry, paid traffic.
So to you, Facebook ads is cold. So to me, what solo ads, which is what I've been selling for the last 10 years, is colder. Yes. But go on. Yes, I know. Yeah. Relax. It paid for my kids' college. Calm down.
No, dude, it's awesome. It didn't work for me. I was not. Yeah, but I know it worked for people like you for sure. So no, paid ads. Thank you for that, Harris. I will say I do like the idea, especially in today's world. I hadn't considered low ticket. Like the minute you said paid, I was like 27, 47, but like a $7 sign up. I
Yeah,
mean,
look at these $1 workshops that are going around
yeah.
right now as well,
I mean,
just to get you.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, in my ADHD business, my high ticket program has always been bought by people who bought my book, aka low ticket offer. The people who come in free don't spend the big bucks so far in my business. And so yeah, it's I'll have to I'm gonna go test a $7 one today. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I would even consider. So I haven't actually done a paid summit, but there's been a huge rise in low. And when I say low ticket offers, I mean I'm not necessarily referring to $7 exclusively.
Right.
Like anything below $100, I generally consider low ticket. But like charging, it's kind of like the long and short of it is, if you're going to do a summit and you're going to charge for it, you're going to have to write a 30-page sales letter to charge for it. So if you don't know how to write a good sales letter, don't waste your time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I want to challenge that.
Well, you can challenge it. I mean, you have to create a sales process that's going to convert at a high enough level. And then the other piece is just that if you're going to be selling either the ticket to the summit, or if it's a free summit and you're going to be selling the recordings and transcripts or something else, then you absolutely have to take the time to build out your whole upsell sequence and your upsell path, because just as selling something on the thank you page after the free opt-in is so critical, that's the equivalent. Yeah. It's the equivalent of a one-click upsell. And if you're leaving one-click upsells and upsell sequences off your offer after whatever you're charging, you're also missing the boat. It's the same thing. You're missing the vast majority of the revenue that you could be collecting. And lots of people are ready, willing, and able to spend more money with you on higher value stuff.
Yep.
So like, 100%. Don't leave that out.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. Sorry. So Rory, like, Tellman and I are big students of automatic clients. Alan Sultanic and somebody else's name who escapes me because I'm friends with Alan, so I always can't remember Robert's name. See, I can't remember it. So anyway, how do you make the economics work with a free summit opt-in? And then the thank you page is what, 90 something bucks, 97?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your market. 47, 67, 97.
Were you able to break even on free opt-in plus the 97, minus the ad spend?
I'm trying to, I think most of the summits where I have either done them myself and tested them, or where I've actually run the traffic for people.
Yeah.
You're usually in the negative on cold traffic to start. Yeah. But once you do the summit, and because again, remember, like, there's only going to be a certain amount of people that are going to take you up on the one-time offer when they immediately sign up. You're going to get more people as you market throughout the summit. And then, of course, what I learned from Tellman, the last day, right? Like, you're going to say, hey, the price goes up, or I'm pulling from the market. You'll never get them again. Yeah. That's where you get your flood of sales. So
I find with paid ads, like, if a lot of the big guys, if they can, only lose 20 to 50%, they know that they're going to make money on the other side. I was just curious.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Harris, I know you have to run. Yeah. Yes. Like, the big guys can lose some money on the front, but you would not believe how many of these big guys are so full of shit and talk a big game, but behind the scenes are crying about their metrics because they can't afford it.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. So harsh reality, harsh lesson for everyone. You got to have big cojones to run cold traffic and to know that you may not break even in the first 30 days.
Yeah.
Cold, harsh reality.
Especially with a free free opt-in. Yeah,
that's right.
You're paying to build your list. I mean, that's what you're doing. You don't you got to shift your perspective on that and say, hey, I'm spending $1,000 a day, $1,000 a week, whatever my budget allows, and I'm paying only $2 per lead, and that's amazing, or whatever. So, all right, well, I've got to go. I've got another call in 20 minutes that I need a total shift to my magic mindset and I've got a deck of cards ready to show a magic trick to them. Sorry, you guys don't get a magic trick.
See a magic trick.
No, I'm sorry, not for you. Not for right now.
You know, I think you should be required to do a magic trick every single time we do a live stream, Harris.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
Oh, nice one.
Harris, you know there is an Instagram creator that his whole shtick is creative ways of giving his audience the middle finger.
Yeah, does he do it as magic or no?
No, I think he.
I've seen one do it as magic where he has like a paper bag,
yes,
and
that's him.
He'll shuffle the deck of cards and he'll put it in the paper bag, and he'll go in the bag and go like that.
Yeah. And then
I do it on stage. I do it on stage quite a bit. Unfortunately, he started doing that before I started going on Instagram, so I can't. But also, we both stole that from a guy named Amazing Jonathan, who was a stand-up comedy magician from the 80s. He's been shooting the bird for a long time. So anyway, I got to go. I was really
bird. I wonder where that comes from. Something to look up. Ask Chat GPT about the bird. All right, guys. That's wonderful.
Bye, guys. Thanks for this.
All right. Thanks, Rory. Thanks, Harris. Have an awesome day. And hey, if you are a marketing friend from the last 20 years and you want to jump on one of these interviews, reach out. Let us know. We happily catch up and connect with you and find out what you got going on. Yeah, Rory, 100%. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Harris. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
Tellman. Bye, Tellman.